We're going to get on to our first educational session. It's Club Leader Success and Completing a Club Success Plan by Gloria Bosma. As in Bosma, sorry. O as in caught, Bosma. Gloria Bosma is an award-winning speaker, co-author of Make More, Work Less by Connecting. As well as a passionate educator, her highly energetic, wildly creative, and compassionate teaching style have earned her the APE GGA Teacher Award recognition. And I thought there's a lot of letters in DTM. She is a keynote presenter, workshop facilitator, and MC. When she isn't teaching or speaking, she champions the rights of trisomy 18 children and serves on the board of directors at the Ukrainian Village. With over 40 years of experience working with elementary students and serving on numerous committees, she understands the importance of good leadership. So please help me in welcoming Gloria Bosma.
Thank you so much for doing that. Well, here we are on a Monday night, ready to learn all sorts of great things about leading our club to success. So the very first thing that I would like you to do is this. We have the wonderful CAT scale here, and what I'd like you to do is, if you were to rate your club, which of these would you use? So open your chat and pick 1 to 9, which describes your club the best, and one word that would describe it. So go for that. Which one is your club? Okay, let's see what we have here. We have fun, happy, supportive, welcoming, professional, variety, happy, fun. Look at all these great things about your club. We've got a lot of great clubs happening here. Active, positive, vibrant, welcoming, almost there. Hey, pretty positive. On the edge, fun, fun, fun. Okay, and I'm going to let you just keep doing that in the chat. And it seems we have a wide variety of things happening here, and that's just awesome for it. No matter how you rated your clubs, we can all get better at our clubs, can't we? And there was a Gallup poll that said 70% of the difference in the culture variant was related to the leader. So that means whether it was a not so great, great, and very great, it all depended on the leader. So the leader actually doesn't just make the difference. You are the difference. No pressure, right? So with that in mind, I think that we can all work to improve our skills. So what we're going to do this evening is I have 3 objectives. Number 1 is we're going to examine the heart of leadership. Number 2, we're going to correlate moments of truth and the Distinguished Club program. And finally, number 3, understand how to complete the club's success plan. All in 30 minutes. So hold on to your hat because it's going to be a fast ride. So we've all seen the tagline for Toastmasters, and it says, Toastmasters is where leaders are made. So we know the where, but exactly how are leaders made? And I believe there are 2 things. Number 1, skill development and practice. And I think that ties in really nicely into our club mission statement, doesn't it? I've highlighted a few areas for us here, but we provide a supportive and positive learning experience. So no, that doesn't mean that you can start twisting somebody's arm to make all those speeches just so you can get your DCP points. And we are empowering our members. So no, we are not doing it all on our own because, well, if I don't do it, nobody else will do it, or perhaps nobody can do it as well as I can. But we're empowering our members to develop their communication skills and their leadership skills. And I think sometimes we forget that it's both and concentrate just on the communication skills. So how do we develop those leadership skills again? Same way we develop the communication skills. We learn the skills, and then what do? We practice, 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 don't we? And the same thing is true for leadership skills. Learn the skills, practice, practice, practice. I'm just going to put a plug in for Pathways. I think Toastmasters has done a fabulous job of really looking at this whole leadership style. And if you do something like dynamic leadership, you'll get a chance to go down a lot of the different styles of leadership. One may suit you more than the other. And you'll learn that different styles are necessary for different occasions as well, aren't they? And they also have things such as 360, where you're able to go through your leadership, see what you've done well, what you may need to work on. So I would highly, highly recommend some of these things to help improve your leadership skills. Now, for a lot of the time, I could sit here and I could just talk about all the things that you need to do. But I thought, instead of doing that, I'm going to tell you a story. So snuggle up, and here we go. Once upon a time, there was a club called Forward Thinkers, and they resided in a not so far away place of Sherwood Park, Alberta. Well, the one thing about these Forward Thinkers is they love to have fun. They enjoy spending time with each other, they enjoy doing things, and they are an excellent club. In fact, they did so well that they were actually voted this year as the most resilient club in D99. The year prior, they were actually showcased in Colorado on the world stage for their Wow Factor video winner. These guys were doing great. But the best thing about Forward Thinkers is that they were there for each other in the good times and the bad times. So you might be thinking, wow, their club sounds great. Doesn't sound anything like my club. I sure wish my club was like that. But you know, they weren't always like that. Because a few years ago, they were down to so few in numbers that one day there were only 4 of them that showed up. And they were a little discouraged and thought, I think today we just better go out for coffee. So the 4 people got together and they started to chat. What were they going to do? Because what was happening is that the club, it was starting to feel like drudgery. People had to do 2 to 3 roles. People had to do speeches just about every other week. And it was starting to really wear on what to do as next steps for the club. So they had to make a decision. What were they going to do? Were they going to throw in the towel? They decided no. Instead of throwing in that towel, the one decision that they made is they were going to take that towel and they were going to wrap it around each other and be there for each other and do whatever it took to make that club move forward, because they determined in their heart that their club was worth it. So what did they do after that one decision? Well, they did a lot of things. They went out and they had open houses. They started doing lots on social media. They made sure that when guests walked through their door, that they already felt like family. They also made sure that they had an excellent program. And you know what happened? They ended up last year with 14 new members. And of those 14 members, they ended up with a net of 9. And that happened because they made that one important heart decision, that their club was worth it and they were all in. So I think before we do anything else, the biggest thing that I can pass on to you is this: are you all in? Because if you're not, then the rest of it is just going to be a checklist. I have to do my club success plan. Oh, I have to do this, I have to do that, and everything else. But unless you're 100% all in, then it's going to change everything. So how about you? What are you going to do with your towel? Are you going to just throw it down, or are you going to wrap it around and say you're all in? And what I'd like you to do now is, if you are all in, open up that chat box right now and put down and commit yourself that I am all in. Give it a go. Yeah, here we go. Look at this. I'm all in. Look at all of you that are in. Absolutely fantastic, folks, because that is going to be the most important decision that you're going to make tonight, that you are all in. And I'll just let you keep that going. So some of the essentials, once you're all in, I think it's really important for what I call the 3 C's: connection, communication, and collaboration. With COVID-19, we're all socially isolated, and that connection piece is going to be so important. How are you going to connect with people either online or offline, doing things? How are you going to communicate with guests that come onto your Zoom? And making sure that you are all collaborating and working together as a whole. So connection, communication, collaboration. Now I'm going to thank my fellow Toastmaster friend Dan McCosh for a number of these. Thank you so much, Dan. You're the man. What we're going to do after you decided you're all in is we have to build a vision for our club. So what if there was no limit on money, time, or resources? What would your club look like? What if, like you said, you were all in? So everybody was doing their position to the best of their abilities. You were showing up, doing speeches, doing all the things that matter. What would your club look like? And what if you were the best club in all of D99, Region 4, or hey, the entire world? Somebody has to be number one. How about you? I love this quote. It's an old proverb that says, "A vision without a plan is just a dream. A plan without a vision is just a drudgery. But a vision with a plan, now that can change the world." And that's what we want to do, folks. We want to get out there and change the world, don't we? So now that we have a vision and we already have our mission statement, our club mission statement that we already looked at, what we have to look at is our goals and the strategies that we're going to use for these goals. So look at all the different areas that we have. For example, marketing. Who are you going to be marketing to? And how are you going to be marketing? Are you going to be doing Facebook, LinkedIn, Meetup? What kind of things are you going to do? And the same thing with guests to member, support growth, excellence, and everything else. So just go down those areas and decide what you want as that. From the goals, you're going to look at your action plan. And the action plan is who does what, when, and how. And at this point, you might be thinking, oh my goodness, this sounds like so much work. But remember, we are a team. We're all in this together, and together we all achieve more, don't we? So your team is working together, and you probably already have a club success plan from last year. So that'll be a really good starting point for you. So don't worry, it's not as hard as it sounds. And what are the key components of a planning? Well, the first thing that you're going to look at is what is your current situation? What are your goals, the strategies, and as we said, the action plan. And some of the tools that we have for assessing the current situation, in the next slides, I'm going to show you the moments of truth and the member interest survey. But you also have things like the SWOT analysis, like your strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. And I tell you, with COVID-19, we have a lot of opportunities and threats, don't we? Threats such as perhaps your membership is going down with being on Zoom. Opportunities, how many of you used Zoom before we had to use it? Or I love this one. I'm able to go to Bangladesh one week, and I can go to maybe Australia another week and visit Toastmasters around the clubs and see how they do things differently. So a lot of great opportunities. For moments of truth, this is what it looks like, and you can go on 290 and find it there. And what you want to do is you wanted to give it to all your membership. I would do it so that you can either maybe use like a survey, and so that everything is tabulated for you. But things such as first impressions. What happens when somebody, for example, comes into your Zoom meeting? What do you do to make them feel welcomed? Could you make sure that everybody in the chat box is saying, hey, welcome, great to see you, glad you're here? Or at break time, making sure that you're connecting, or after. Things such as member orientation. How do you let the members know what's going on? And the same thing with variety and communication, program planning, membership, and achievement. So making sure that your membership gets a chance to go through these things. And then the nice part is at the back, there's the best practices. For example, you might have a challenge of guests not showing up. They'll have some possible causes, but look at that. There's all these fabulous best practices for you. So take a peek at that as well. Another thing that you can use is the member interest survey, and that's number 403. And that helps you a little bit more with what the member wants, as far as do they want to do things inside and outside the club, what kind of things they're looking at. And you'll see on this side is the club quality characteristics, very similar to what we just looked at in the moments of truth as well. So a lot of great resources for you to figure things out. Now that you have all the information, you see where you need to work, you're going to start on your club success plan. And I know that if you're new to Toastmasters, sometimes all the acronyms can be really overwhelming. Somebody came and says, I don't know what this is all about. There's TTM, DCP, all of this. So DCP, Distinguished Club Program. And how it operates, if you see here, there are 4 different areas: education, membership, training, and administration. So it's very easy. The first one, education, you are awarded 6 points. Membership has 2. Training has 1, and administration has 1. So for example, if you have 4 people and they complete a level 1, you will get 1 point. Now, I have to give you a word of caution. Let's say that you have Keener Karen. Keener Karen has done level 1, 2, 3, maybe even 4. So your club will get credit for that. However, if Keener Karen is also enrolled in a second pathway and has done her first, second, and third pathway as well, or maybe 1, she cannot use that for credit for your club, because it states that it's only 1 level per member. So she'd be able to use that for another club, but not your club. And the same thing holds true with membership. You need to have 4 members for a point. Another 4 members, you'll have another point. And officer training, you guys are already here. So come on back between November and February, and you can get another point. And your club officer list, I'm assuming, is already there. And make sure that your memberships are handed in on time. So if you have 5 out of 10, you become distinguished, 7 out of 10, select, and 9 out of 10, president's distinguished. I remember when I first started off, I was thinking, oh my gosh, it's October and I already have 5 DCP points. Woohoo, I'm just on a roll here. Not so fast, because it all depends on membership as well. So what happens is that you need to have 20 members or a net growth of 5 new members to actually qualify. So in these 2 instances here, we have this club has, in June 30th, they had a base of 13. But somewhere over the summer, they lost, and now they're down to 9. So what they need to do is they need to have a net growth of 5 new members. So they'll need 18. So that means this club is going to have to add 9 more members before they qualify for the Distinguished Club Program. In this instance, they started off with 20. They lost 1. So all they need actually is 1 new member to qualify for Club Distinguished Program. So you can see once you're up there, it's just make sure that you're maintaining, because it takes a little longer to get up there. So why is this so important? Like, who cares? The reason being that all of these things are going to form a great club. For example, education. If you have people that aren't doing their speeches, how much are they growing? It'd be just like me. I have this vision where I have there's a buff person, but I'm doing nothing about it. Whereas my son, he's in the gym every day for 1 hour. So who's getting better results? And the same thing with our members. Same thing with membership. We said how important it is, because otherwise it's so hard and it feels like drudgery just in getting those numbers up. And training, if you don't have members know what their positions are, it's really going to be hard to fulfill them, aren't they? And administration just makes everything flow smoother. So looking at our club success plan, the first 5 pages are looking at things such as team composition, values, principles, obstacles, etc. So you're just going to sit down as a team and go over the things. For example, values. Maybe it's going to be Toastmasters value. So that's integrity, respect, service, and excellence, and you may want to add to that. So work together as a team to figure out what you want. And again, these are from Dan McCosh, so thanks, Dan. And just some samples for operating principles, things such as being open and honest with one another, treating each other with dignity and respect. Great things. Listening to and respecting each other's ideas and opinions. And I'll let you just read the rest of it. And you want to take a screenshot, you're very welcome to do that. So this will just give you some ideas of things that might work for you. Ground rules again, starting and ending on time. Isn't that an important one? I know that I've been to meetings that's supposed to start at one time and hasn't started till 15 minutes later. Annoying. But taking a peek at agenda in advance, clear actions, etc. So those will help you. And again, if you want to take a screenshot to give you some ideas, you're very welcome to do that. A second thing that I actually did is maybe you have all the information, you know what you want to do, but you just can't figure out how to put it in words. What I did is I just Googled club success plan and voila, there were all these ideas. So for example, this one, when they're talking about communication, I love this at the bottom. Our team has different preferences when it comes to communication, but for the purposes of leading our club to success, we have selected the following preferences. For urgent matters, a phone call. For important matters, a text. And for email, for general correspondence. So you might look at that, not that you're going to copy it, but it's just like, oh, that really helps give me an idea. The same thing with the situation analysis. You might want to look at some of those. For a club success plan, you will have met with a member, found out what their goals are, what you're going to be doing for educationals for the club. And so just filling in the how, what, who, and when. So it's describing how they're going to be doing it, etc. So that's pretty explanatory. In this one, they put down when mentors sit down with new members for the first time, they'll ask the member when they want to do their icebreaker and also finish their level 1. This information will be shared with the VP of Education to track and ensure scheduling allows them to reach their goals. Like, what a great idea. Making sure that when will you do your icebreaker instead of just waiting and waiting, having them scheduled. There's also lots of different ideas of how to do it. There is one here, the Club Success Plan, just a little different look to it, strategy, resources, and assignment. So just maybe do something that works for you and your club. This one, they talked about their aim, vision, and mission statement, and it was simple. The date plan, did they achieve it, with key challenges here at the bottom. So yeah, look online, a lot of resources on Toastmasters International, a lot in line. And remember that it is a team effort. The VP of Education can maybe look at that education piece. Membership can look at PR and all of those kinds of things, but you're working together for that plan.
Gloria, speaking of team effort, this is where I tell you, my team member, that you have about 5 minutes, including your Q&A, my dear.
Thank you. So we also have your area director is going to have this sheet right here. And so you can see that'll have names, target, and whether or not your goal has been met. So just making sure that you're down to it. So in summary, are we all in? Where do you want to be? What obstacles are we facing? The strategy, identifying each of the strategies, and how and when we will measure our progress. And I'd like to end with this. This is the brand positioning for Toastmaster. I wasn't born all around me, though, in the community, at work, at school. Leaders were everywhere. They were the heads of families, coaches of teams, business leaders, mentors, organizational decision makers. I admired those leaders. They influenced who I was and who I was becoming. And whatever they did professionally or how they became what they were, I aspired to walk in their footsteps. And so I committed myself to becoming one. And finally, it came to me. It wasn't just what leaders knew that enabled them to lead. They had a voice. They could tell their story. They could listen and answer. They didn't just accomplish, they communicated. So I set out to find my voice, learn to process information on my toes. I needed to learn to listen, learn to give feedback, and accept it. I needed to organize, plan, deliver, follow up. I needed a place where all the ingredients were there and someone would guide me along the way. I found that place. I found a community of learners and the path to leadership. I am a leader, and I was made. And ladies and gentlemen, that is the reason that we are in Toastmaster, because a Toastmaster is where leaders are made.